So there are basically two ways how you can use your Insta360 GO 3S. You can basically either use it as a standalone camera whenever that small size and extreme lightweight are important for you, or you can keep it inside of the action pod, which entirely can change the way how you can use your GO 3S. So from the very beginning, Insta360 GO series was designed with only one thing in mind: to make this camera as small as only possible, so you can capture hands-free perspective from all sorts of different angles. And while they did manage to put a 4K resolution in here alongside time-lapse and hyperlapse feature, they simply couldn't fit a touchscreen on it because it will make the camera much bigger than it has to be. You see, what Action Pod accessory does is basically transforming the GO 3S into a traditional action camera, where you have a full access to the touchscreen and basic camera buttons. So it's easy for you to change the settings or preview recordings, etc. You don't have to connect to the mobile app to do it. With the touchscreen, it's easier to frame your shot because you get a real-time preview of what your camera is currently seeing. In this configuration, you have more control of how your final video gonna look like. But what I find particularly helpful is that I can tilt the screen up so I can clearly see what I'm recording from a low angle. Yet the biggest improvement is that you can flip the touchscreen and point it at yourself. And this way, it's simply so much easier to take a selfie or record yourself, which can be pretty useful for vlogging or simply keeping yourself in the frame exactly how you want it. Once you remove the GO 3S from the Action Pod, you can use it as a remote control that has a real-life preview up to 5 meters away from the camera. This way, you can still start a recording or even change some settings from a distance. You can monitor the shot during a recording so you know if it looks good, or maybe you have to stop and make some adjustments, which was very helpful when my camera was outside of my car and I couldn't reach it, but I was still able to control it. Unfortunately, the video feed can get a little bit laggy and blurry, so it doesn't work perfectly, especially when you record in 4K or are a couple of meters away from the camera. In my case, I lost the connection a couple of times and reconnected shortly after, so there are definitely some limitations to it. Action Pod can also recharge the Go 3S and even extend its battery life. You see, Go 3S on its own can record for about 38 minutes on a single charge. Yet when you put it into the Action Pod, it's somewhere around 140 minutes. So I think there are like two different scenarios of how you can use it. You can simply record some sport activities with just the camera itself and put it back into the Action Pod to recharge it when you have a break. This way, you have a small camera and you don't have to worry about breaking the screen. But on the other hand, you can use it with the Action Pod for everyday stuff, like traveling, vlogging, or simply spending time with your family. And lastly, the Action Pod accessory supports the same magnetic design just like the Go 3S. So we can easily mount it to a pivot stand in just a matter of seconds. Alright guys, so this is everything that Insta360 GO 3S Action Pod has to offer. Now, in case if you didn't know about it, this accessory is already included with the camera in the package, so you don't have to purchase it separately, which is really nice. The only thing that I don't like about it is that I always have to have the camera inside of it to play back the footage. I wish I could simply preview the shots when the camera is still out there mounted to something, because I don't want to take it in and out every single time just because I want to check it. So I think that there is definitely some room for improvement. And lastly, what you need to know is that the Action Pod doesn't have a removable battery. You know that 140 minutes runtime should be probably enough, but if you want to record for even longer than that, then I highly recommend having something like a rechargeable grip with USB-C cable. This way, it can last you even a whole day.